I love therapy, and in fact, I've been going to therapy since I was around 6 years old. Though I talk about therapy a lot and may interview some therapists on the show on occasion, nothing that is said in this podcast should be considered a replacement for therapy. If you are struggling, I urge you to please seek guidance from a therapist because you are absolutely worth it. Hello, everyone. You are listening to Wine, Dine, and 69, a podcast about dating, relationships, sex, and self-love. I am your host, Rachel Dalton, coming at you with a very important question. And I'm serious about this. Please give me answers. I need to know. At what point do you tell people that you're dating that you host a sex, dating, and relationships podcast? Yeah, because I need to know. I started dating again, and overwhelming is an understatement. I mean, so the beauty of it is there are so many cool people. I have chatted with just a huge range of different guys, and they're all absolutely incredible in their own way. I've been very lucky thus far, knock on wood, that actually I'm going to knock on wood though. There we go. I think that's fake wood. Does that count? I'm doing it again just in case. I hope that covered my bases. I don't know why I'm whispering. Anyway, yes, the apps are entirely overwhelming. I think I need a break, says the girl who took a break from dating for a full year and has only been on the apps for a week. But man, I didn't know how much energy it takes. I mean, keep in mind that the last time that I online dated was 5 years ago, and my first online date ever, I ended up dating him for years. So my experience with online dating is extremely limited, but it's been very informative, and I have definitely learned a lot. I was talking to my brother recently, shout out, and we were talking about Hinge, not sponsored, and dating apps in general, but you know, I'm on Hinge, so that was the subject. And he mentioned that women have a tendency to get bombarded on these apps. And, you know, I actually read a study maybe like last month. I'll have to see if I can find and link in the episode notes. But I remember it stood out to me because it said that I think it was like 60% of individuals on dating apps identify as male. And so then, of course, because that's how math works, a smaller percentage identifies as female. And obviously, I'm talking about straight relationships here. That is my experience. Although I would love to have somebody on to talk about how that differs for people who do not identify as straight. So if that's you and you want to come on, go ahead and, again, shoot me an email. Let me know. But basically, you have a larger percentage of men seeking a smaller percentage of women. And yeah, you know, that just sucks for guys. It just sucks. The numbers suck. And yeah, I mean, I can't do anything about it, but if you're out there and you're listening and you're a dude who is just really struggling with it, I feel for you. That fucking blows. Not an ideal situation. But we are all just doing the best that we can. Some of us. Not everybody. Some people are assholes. I'm in a mood today. What is going on? I was working like crazy today, and now I think that I have like the witching hour, the equivalent of Zoomies for humans, whatever that is. I have that. And so here's another question for you. In addition to letting me know your opinion on when you think is an appropriate time to tell someone that you have a sex and relationship podcast, please also let me know. Just tell me your worst date stories. I think I'm ready to hear them. I think that I can look at this with a new headspace now. I should go back and actually read Lindsay's book, Swipe Right. I wasn't ready to read it, when I interviewed her a few months ago, but I think I'm ready to now. I think I'm ready to see the humor in it. So let me know your worst date story. I feel like I need to be prepared for the worst. Even though, again, knock on wood, my experience has been pretty okay so far. But yeah, I'm sure you're very sick of hearing about me. So let's get to the sex stuff. Today, I talked to Taylor Sparks, who is an incredible human being. Oh my gosh, I could have talked to her for like hours after this. We talk about organic sex products. We talk about kind of like the composition of the vagina and different lubes and toys and what's good for you and what's not. We talk about sex cruises. We talk about jealousy and ethical non-monogamy. We could touch on like some like philosophy even at some points. So we really cover it all. And yeah, she's absolutely incredible and I learned a lot and I hope you do too. So with that, I'm going to cut to a quick commercial break and then please enjoy my conversation with Taylor Sparks.
Calling all citizens of Halcyon City. The newest generation of heroes are now painting the pages of Delinquent Comics, an actual play podcast in the game world of Masks, a new generation. Join our heroes as they struggle to build a team and save the city. Can Titan escape the shadow of his mentor burnout? Is Soul's overwhelming power too dangerous to control? Will Muse discover her past? And how does White Knight stomach all those strange snacks? Listen to Delinquent Comics to find out at allportsopen.com, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever podcasts are found. New issues become available to all citizens every other Monday.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am super excited here today to introduce my guest, Taylor. Taylor, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful, Rachel. How are you?
I am good. I am hot, but I am good. We were kind of talking about that before we started recording. Yeah, right? I don't know why I don't. I really should. It would be more appropriate for the sex podcast to like record naked too, wouldn't it?
I think so. And
you know what? Maybe I'd get more listeners. Yeah.
Yes. And you're going to say, I'm recording here naked in my studio. You can just tell them you're naked.
That's true. I do record from my bed a lot. I am sitting on my bed right now. So
really?
Yeah. I record from my bed most of the time. I don't know. It's just my happy spot, my place where I feel like the most myself and vulnerable. And like I'm a Taurus, so I'm very lazy and I like sleep.
You're not lazy. That's funny.
Yeah, but yeah, super excited to talk to you today. You are the founder of OrganicLoven.com, which is one of the largest BIPOC owned organic online intimacy shops. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Organic Loven specializes in improving adult sexual health and wellness and enhancing their sex lives through our organic intimate body products, our body safe sex toys, sex positive books, erotic educational seminars, and luxury adults vacations. So I, as an erotic educator and sex goddess, in addition to having our online store, I travel the world. More so now that the world's opening back up than the last 2 years. But yeah, I travel the world and get to talk about pussy. Can I say pussy?
Yeah, you can say pussy.
Okay. And dick. Can I say dick?
Yes. Yep. You can say any and all of that. Yep.
Yay! I'm in my
Yeah.
happy place.
Yeah. No, I have no rules here. Well, I mean, like, be kind. I think be kind is my rule, but
Oh,
I
for
think that's
sure.
it.
That's not even a rule. That's like a rule. It's law.
Yeah. I mean, it truly should be, but. Well, okay. So, sex goddess, is that something that's a title that someone bequeathed onto you, or is it one that you
It's
gave yourself?
it's one I gave myself once I realized I
Love
was a sex
that.
goddess. Um, because and people go, well, what is a sex goddess? Well, in my opinion, a sex goddess is a woman who loves everything there is to do with regards to sex, even the sex that she or I may not indulge in. This is the fact that you have found something that you enjoy. I love that. I love that about you and about
Mm-hmm.
sex. But also, I consider sex very healing on both the giving and receiving side. And so that's what makes me a sex artist. I'm like, oh my God, you love anal? Oh, that's good for you. Not me, but I'm so happy you have found something you enjoy.
Yeah, no, very supportive. I mean, there's a kink for out there for almost anything, and again, as long as you're not hurting anybody, then consenting adults, etc.
Yes.
Um, so tell me a little bit about like who you are and how you got started, what the process of founding Organic Loven was. Just kind of walk me through. I don't know. I kind of think that like people's childhood is interesting and learning just how you were raised and.
Yeah, no, it didn't come that quite that soon. It wasn't like a childhood thing. Although, all people always ask if I've always been pretty open. I'm like, I've always been open.
Right.
My mom was she gave me the basics, and I think I must have been 15 or something, or when she gave me the book Our Bodies Ourselves.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah, I think we sell it on the site. I think it must be in its 119th rendition, right? About
Oh, it
publication
must
right
be.
now. It's
It must
got it. It's
be.
been so old. But yeah, so prior to having Organic Love It, I won't go too far back. I had a company called Skincare for Athletes.
Ooh.
I am certified in both holistic aromatherapy and human behavior. So I did corporate training for about almost 15 years, and I did training in communications and negotiations, management and leadership skills, conflict resolution, customer service, and I traveled around the country in Canada doing that. And
Wow.
then I guess right before I turned 40, I decided to do my first marathon,
Oh,
and
wow.
I've since done like two full marathons, eight half marathons, a sprint triathlon, and a half Ironman. We won't be doing that shit again because the half Ironman was it was longer and harder than both my labors combined. I'm like, who
Oh
in
my
the
gosh.
It was so difficult. It was so difficult. But during my training for both the marathon and triathlon, I ended up developing a line of organic skincare for elite endurance athletes. And it was the Tri Body line that as because there were three, main ingredients when I started. And we did head to toe care for elite endurance athletes. So we sponsored marathoners and marathon races and triathletes and triathlons. We also ended up sponsoring five different Olympians, both winter and summer.
Oh,
And
cool.
so during that time, I was at races, and our products was in Muscle and Fitness Hers, and we were in the SB Award gift bags, and the whole yada yada. And
That's so cool.
it was ticking along. It was we were growing organically, which is the same meaning as self-funded, and growing organically. But it was like a baby that wouldn't get out of the crib. And halfway through that, my husband and I started traveling to adults only resorts like Hedonism and Desire. Hedonism resort is in Jamaica, Desire in Mexico. And then we started producing our own events, adults only events at those same locations. And as soon as we started, we met a couple, Pepe and Claudia, that own Luxury Lifestyle Vacations Club.
Okay.
And they said, hey, we have a really big, company. We're always looking for affiliates. You guys should, become affiliates of ours. And we were all in Cabo at the time. And come to find out, they live 20 minutes from us door to door. So
What?
girl, it's
Oh
the
my
craziest thing.
gosh.
And then so We became affiliates of theirs and traveling with them. And I noticed on some of the cruises, not their cruises, but some of the other cruises and hotel takeovers that we were going to with them, that the vendors had a lot of chemical based products.
Mm-hmm.
The lube was chemical based and the toys were shitty at
Mm-hmm.
best, just, not really good. So around that same time, Claudia asked me to develop a line of organic sensual body washes and massage oils for their brand. So it's a private label they commissioned me to do. So I developed this product over, the course of 6 months or so. And when it came time to launch it, we had no place to sell it because they had a travel agency and I had a skincare for athletes company.
Oh, right. So
So
you have this like product that you've worked on, but
where we're going to
it's
sell it?
not like it's niche, but like it doesn't fit into either one of your wheelhouses.
Exactly.
Right.
So with a little bit of love, support, and money from them, I launched Organic Loven. Um, October, it'll be 9 years ago. So I launched Organic Loven starting with their 4 products. I'm no longer a manufacturer. I'm a reseller now, but I started with their 4 products. And now we have over 1,100 products representing over 200 brands, and we ship worldwide.
Wow. Yeah, I checked out the site earlier today and I was like, ooh, this is fun.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
Thank you. I try to keep it that way.
yeah. Now, what are I mean, I'm curious for myself. I feel like I am not as aware of ingredients. I'm not very
Mm,
aware about what I put into my body like at all, which I really should be. And now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, all right, let's like start doing some
mhm.
research. So like what are some main ingredients that people should be looking for that's like a no-go for that goes for like skincare, aromatherapy, all of that stuff.
Right. So for lubricants specifically, lubricants you don't want, and a lot of people hear like glycerin,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a derivative of sugar, but so is sucrose and glucose are also derivatives of
Mm-hmm.
sugar, not just glycerin. So sometimes they'll change the names and you'll be like, oh, it doesn't have glycerin, it only has sucrose, but that is also sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put sugar in something dark and warm and wet, what do you get?
Why would you put, I mean, a yeast infection, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, I always say you stop baking bread.
oh yeah, oh god, yeah, never. Oh gosh, if I never have another yeast infection or UTI in my life, and I know that I will,
Girl,
but
all
like
you
if
want
I
to do
never
is get a
do,
bristle brush, right? But
yep.
yeah, so they put it in to sweeten it. And so glycerin is something you want to stay away from. Propylene glycol, which is the cousin to antifreeze. It's not antifreeze, but it's the cousin to antifreeze. You will find it in so many other products that are probably in your home. You just, when you get off the phone, just go to the bathroom and start looking at it, and you'll be like, oh my God, this. You'll find it in toothpaste and mouthwash and shampoo and dog food and body lotion and face products and hair products. Its main purpose is that it makes wet things slippery. The challenge is that when it's very drying to the vaginal tissue. And when the
Mm-hmm.
vagina gets dry and you have that friction, you end up with little micro tears in the vagina, which then, of course, leads you susceptible to everything you're trying not
Yeah,
to get:
yeah.
vaginosis, yeast infections, yada, yada, yada. So, propylene glycol, glycerin, dimethicone, which is um, oh Lord, it's oh my God, I'm having a blank. Okay, wait. What are all the toys made of right now? Everybody's using those toys. That's the body safe material. Oh my God, I'm having a
The
blank.
silicone.
Silicone. Thank you. Good
Okay.
Lord, I had a blank there. Um, so yeah, dimethicone is just another name for silicone, but it's in liquid form. And so the skin, is porous, and people go, you absorb 60% of what you put on it. It's not that you absorb 60%. It's possible to absorb up to 60% because, if you absorb 60% every time you got in the shower, you'd probably drown. But
Right.
so you can absorb up to 60%, but the vagina and the anus is covered in a mucous membrane, and up to 100% of what is put in it is absorbed into the bloodstream. So
Mm-hmm.
silicone lubes, which are all popular because people can have sex in the jacuzzi, don't have sex in the jacuzzi,
Oh gosh, no, that's a
or
great
don't
way to
have
get
sex in
again
the
a yeast
pool.
infection or UTI.
That's it, girl. You get so many infections in the jacuzzi and pool. You have
Ugh.
no idea. No sex in the champagne room. So I think, so I don't even sell silicone based lubricants because of that reason. It's just not good for the body.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're always told water-based
Yeah.
lubricants.
Yeah,
And it's better for if
water-based.
you're using a condom too. Like a silicone lubricant is going to wear the material thin.
No, you can use this. You can use silicone with a condom, but you can't use silicone lubricants with a silicone toy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, because it will deteriorate the toy. You do not want to use oil-based lubricants with a rubber latex because it would deteriorate the latex on the condom. But then you could use a non-latex condom,
Right, right.
if that's the case. Um, so
Water-based lube. General rule of thumb,
yeah,
water-based
well,
lube.
water-based is fine. Aloe vera, I think, is better. Aloe vera with an organic, that's an organic product. Aloe vera with some water is great. Aloe vera is very, very healing to the vaginal tissues. Um, if you are not using a barrier with your partner, if you guys are already what they call fluid bonded, right? So you're
Ooh,
not
I've
using
never heard that phrase
condoms.
before. I love
Yeah,
that.
it's a term that people use in polyamory to be
Okay.
fluid bonded. And so if you're not, which just means you're not using a barrier, then you can use coconut oil based lubes, CBD oil based lubes. Those are amazing and also very healing for the vaginal tissues. So if you are in a multi partnered relationship, polyamory, polygyny, polygamy, any of those, um, polyandry, there's a wonderful lube on our site called Defense by Intimate Earth, and it has guava bark and carrageenan and tea tree oil, which have been clinically proven to help prevent things like yeast infections and HPV.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Sounds so
so it,
luxurious.
yeah, so if you're, I always recommend it to my multi-partner people or people who are in the swinger community, who are having sex with others. And it's organic and it's a really, really good lube. And the guava bark makes it nice and slippery. So it's a
Hmm.
good lube. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, anything alcohol based, um, there's some lubes with alcohol in it for one reason. Stay away from the flavored lubes, primarily
Yeah.
because pussy should taste like pussy, not cookies and cream, not not bananas and chocolate chips, not strawberries. Because when a woman's health is off by any means, one of the first things that will change is her vaginal secretions.
Yep.
You see.
Yeah. No. Hmm.
And so you don't want to mask anything with flavored lubes. So
You
don't
want to
put
know
whipped cream in
exactly
your
what it
yeah.
is. Hmm.
Don't put whipped cream in your pussy. You can put it around the outside. You can stain the vulva on the outside.
Hmm.
You can put it in the boobs, but don't put it in the
Yes.
vagina because whipped cream has sugar, and then
The
you'll
only
be
things
baking
that should be
bread.
going in there are fingers and toys that are approved, right? That are the toys that
Yes,
are good
yes.
for you.
Body safe sex toys.
Penises.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Penises,
Uh,
tongues, clean
yeah,
tongues.
those are all good things. But like anything that's like not attached to a body or a sex toy,
No
let's
fruit,
skip it.
no
Yeah,
vegetables.
no, no.
No, I saw a woman. Not I saw a post about a woman, an educator, who was doing a course on using a cucumber to clean your vagina. No,
What?
no. Vaginas are self cleansing. They're like the self
Mm-hmm.
cleaning oven. You don't need a cucumber. Not to mention, there are pesticides on cucumbers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
it leaves a residue. There's pesticide, there's wax to make them look shiny. Even the organic ones they're using an organic pesticide, but it's meant to kill something. So,
Right,
and
right.
even if you peel it, there are pesticides that they put on the cucumbers that penetrate the skin of the cucumbers to get inside the cucumber to kill the aphids inside. So that pesticide is still on the inside.
And we eat these things too. Not only are
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
not to mention we eat
yeah.
these things. So yeah,
Wow.
don't
That's
don't use any fruit. Don't You can't do everything you see in porn.
that's upsetting. Yeah. Well, okay, that kind of leads to a question that I have. Like, let's talk about pH, right? So, yeah, I think I dated somebody a long time ago who had this like
Mm.
thing about like he wanted to like douche women,
Ah,
and Yeah,
God, no.
it's
Why?
specific. I have no idea. But like it was his thing, and I was young, and I was like, okay, sure. And I tried a couple times, but then I, did some research on it and realized how bad douching is for you.
Yes, because the vagina is self-cleansing. It's like the most delicate, floral ecosystem, and any little thing will throw it off. You
Right.
know,
So none of those
dairy,
like pH balance.
sugar.
Yep.
Yeah, even I tell women who keep having chronic yeast infections, I'm like, okay, change your lubricant, change your condoms, change your laundry detergent.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to go organic. Organic can be expensive, but if you just do like free and clear that has no colorants, dyes, those kind of things, because a lot of your basic detergent that smells like mountain breeze and all this other crazy shit, it'll leave a residue on
Yep.
your clothing and your underwear. And if you are really sensitive, that to having your pH balance thrown off, that's something. So I highly recommend changing your condoms, lubricants, changing your laundry detergent, and also changing your body wash or soap.
hmm
Anything that has to get anywhere near your vagina, even if it's on the outside, if you're highly sensitive, go organic for as best you can, or at the very least do without any chemicals, perfumes, or dyes.
Right. Well, and that was actually gonna be my next question. Like, how again, the vagina is a self-cleaning thing, but I know that cleaning the vulva is a pretty typical thing to do. Just again, like inside with soap. Ugh. Oh
No,
gosh.
never.
But how should one go about cleaning that area?
The easiest way to go about cleaning that area is to get a really clean washcloth, put some water on it, put one finger in the washcloth, put it inside your vagina, sweep around 3 times, twice one way, once the other way, you're done. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it. That's
That's
it.
literally it. You don't need douche. I know some women like to douche like, well, I just had my period and there might be some residue and I want to have sex with my boyfriend, So, once a
If
month
your
is not going to.
boyfriend is a real man, he's gonna be completely fine with it.
Right, right, right. But some women just like, I just can't send him down there. I know there's residue. So then I always, then do that. Just literally, squat if you need to, but just plain water once or twice around with a plain water with a washcloth, and you will be clean.
Yeah.
You literally will be clean, and that's it. That's all you
Yeah.
need. No more,
That's
no less.
that's the thing. Like we were made like this. It's funny how much we try to alter our natural state of being, right? Over the
Hmm.
times that humans have been on this earth.
Yeah.
Ah, well, okay, you kind of already talked to me about what the process of starting that site was like. You also offer educational experiences and opportunities and reading materials on like a blog. What made you want to combine the products with these educational resources?
Well, the products came first, and
hmm
the seminars came second, if you will, because because of my background in corporate training, I know that humans, not humans, I know that adults, I should say, adults learn best through humor. So
Yes.
I thought it'd be great, and I was doing selling products at adults only cruises like Bliss Cruise, Couples Cruise. You have 4,000 people, and there's theme nights and there's seminars every day, all day. And, because people are not going to just have sex, at some point people got to get up and eat. You got to give them something else to do. So having seminars that could stand out. So like the very first seminar I developed was how to make good pussy better. And
Mm.
so people were like, oh my God, we're going to learn some new techniques. And they come running to the seminar and I'd be like, and this is why you should use organic lube. But I would use that time to introduce the new toys in the market. Some of the products that we carry offer more than a happy ending. Some of the products by Hot Octopus, their very first one called the Pulse, was
Yes.
originally designed. Yeah, you know the pulse. Yeah, it was
I do.
originally
Yeah.
designed to assist men who had spinal cord injuries that were doing IVF treatment with their wives.
Oh my
And they
gosh, no
realized that,
way.
yeah, that's what it was
Huh.
designed for originally. It was a less invasive way to get the sperm out of the man, but then they realized he had so much fun. Like, we're going to redesign this for everyone, for every man. And it's the world's first vibrator for men, but it is helpful for men with mobility issues. Maybe they're unable, because you can use it hands free. You can use it flaccid or erect. The newer models now have remote controls. So you could your partner could put it on you and use the remote control. So that way, or if they're not mobile from the waist down, someone could put it on for them and they could use the remote control with it. Um, I have some clients who have Parkinson's disease and they can't use things like Viagra because of the medication they're on.
Sure.
And so they're able to, they have a hard time getting an erection, but they can maintain one. So this was one toy that assisted them in getting erect. So they were fine once they were erect, but they
Right.
had a hard time getting there.
Getting there.
So
Yeah.
this product helped them get there. We have some products, the Myixel, which helps men with premature ejaculation. It's set up like a game, and it helps them kind of edge so they can prolong how long it is before they ejaculate.
Edge play is
Um,
the best.
yes, yes,
Love
yes.
edge play.
Yeah. So doing the seminars and expanding from, how to make good pussy better, which showcase the products and why they were good for you. Just as we're talking about it, I talked about it in the seminar, but in a fun way. And then we used the Liberator sex pillows to kind of break up the monotony of just talking about the chemicals and bring people up. And because, I always enjoyed talking. From there, I went on to develop a seminar based on Janet Hardy's book, Spanking for Lovers. And my course is called Spanking for Lovers, Your Ass or Mine.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's about erotic spanking, not the BDSM spanking. So it's that place kind of in the middle, to help people learn about the anatomy, where to spank, how to spank. But it's kind of based on her book in my fun way. The Sexual Health and Wellness course for women, which some men do attend, is the care and feeding of your pussy. And
Okay. Yeah.
that covers all of the different products, the chemicals, what's good, what's not good, and I showcase all the products that we have, what's new on the market, what we found out that may be new that's no longer good for you. So that's kind of an evolving one. I do one based on the Liberator sex pillows called When Your Hips Don't Lie, Sex Positions for All Body Shapes.
I love these titles. Oh my gosh.
Well,
I mean,
it's
again,
interesting.
learning through humor.
Yeah, you got to, it's fun, and they're all interactive. You end up bringing somebody up, like the spanking class, like, I need an ass, I need a bottom. Like, oh, pick me. I'm like, okay, you need to know that your whole ass needs to be out to the audience, like stripped down naked. And then a lot of hands go down, but there's always that one that's like, I'm in, like, bring that ass up here.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Yeah. And then I also do one on jealousy. Oh my God, based on, okay, I can't remember the name. There's a book on jealousy for people who are in open relationships and in, ethical non-monogamous relationships. But the title is called Jealousy, the intersection between I love you and fuck off. So,
so accurate. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because,
These
sometimes
great.
you're just like, what? Did you see recently? It was posted all over the internet. It was on MSN.com how a brawl broke out on a Carnival Cruise Line because these people had a threesome. It was a 60 person brawl. Like, okay, first of all, what does the other 57 people have to do with the 3 people that had the freaking threesome?
This sounds incredible, and I need to know everything about it. When was this?
Just last week. There's
gosh.
video. It took them an hour. They had to call in the Coast Guard. But I'm like, what does the other 57 people got to do with the 3 people that got it? So apparently,
Seriously.
so let's say you were there with your guy and I was with my guy, right?
Uh-huh.
You and I left and had a threesome and left our partners in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the fight started.
What?
So
Oh my
2
gosh.
people left their partners apparently and went and had a threesome with somebody else. I don't
So
know if it
okay,
was
you're like, all
girls
right, yeah.
or girls and guys. I don't know what the mix was, but apparently somebody
The
got wind
total
of it.
number of the total number of people that like max could have been involved directly by this is 5. The 2
No,
partners that
3.
were left
It was a
behind.
threesome. Like it's 3.
Well, yeah, but the 2 people who were left behind were probably upset that they were left behind, and that's why.
But what does the other 57 people got to do with this?
I have no idea.
Girl,
I
it
have
was
no
mayhem.
idea.
They called in the Coast Guard. It took them an hour to stop the freaking fight.
That is insanity. Wow. Well, I guess
know.
speaking of like the travel aspect of it, I've always been curious, and one of the main things that you've kind of touched on a little bit now are the adult luxury cruises. And you mentioned that you put together some of these experiences. Just kind of like, what does that look like?
Well, yeah, I did. I don't produce anymore. I'm an affiliate of all of the major producers of adult only cruises, resort takeover. They have hotel takeovers, sex expos, um, one of the largest swinger cruises. But the cruise, so there's 2 kinds of cruises. So you have Bliss Cruise. They do 2 cruises a year, both out of Florida, both out of Miami and or Fort Lauderdale. It's anywhere between like 4,000 people and like 6,000 people. And
Wow.
the pool deck is clothing optional. You do have to wear clothes every place else, but not many. They take over the entire ship, like a Royal Caribbean ship, or they take over the whole ship. And
Wow.
there are, very strict, when you say rules, I mean, nothing like that. I've been doing this for over 10 years. Nothing like that has ever happened on a swinger cruise. Like there's never been this, 57 people fight
Right.
because somebody got jealous, because people understand no means no. And,
Right.
2 people might have been upset, but nothing ever like that.
Well, yeah, it seems like people in like ethical non-monogamy circles, or somebody who would go to a cruise, I just find that people who are more open sexually just are also more respectful. And that's obviously not like a hard and fast rule, just a trend that I myself have noticed.
Yeah, and not saying that people don't get jealous, because just because you decide to open up your relationship, it does not mean that you are going to be exempt from your emotions. You're still going to
Mm-hmm.
have, but feelings of jealousy, love, what feels like love, hatred, anger, sadness, insecurities,
Yeah.
all that. But what you have to learn to do is deal with your own emotions.
Yeah,
And just
absolutely.
because, yeah, but the cruises are hella fun. So there's theme nights every night. So there'll be, white night or pimps and hoes night, or the one I'm going on coming up in August. We're going to have a Game of Thrones night because we're going to be
Oh,
in
that's fun.
Croatia where it was filmed. And there might be like your favorite decade night or 60s night. There'll be color themes, white night, blue night. There's a formal night. People are in tuxes and gowns, which is always sexy. Fetish night, of course. And so, ABC night, anything but clothes.
Anything but close. Yep. We had that
I
party
love
in college.
ABC. Oh my God, ABC. One, I was at Desire Resort, and one woman who was stunningly gorgeous, sexy, beautiful ass body for ABC night. She came to the freaking disco. She had on her diamonds, earrings, a necklace, a fox butt plug, and her heels, and that was it.
Wow. What a
That was
cool
it.
lady.
I'm like, really? Seriously?
Showing us all up here.
Girl, that was it. But I've seen people taped up. I mean, just some of the, so people really get into the theme nights. Of course, there's entertainment, and for the bigger ships, like the with 4,000 people, there'll be 4 or 5 discos. There'll be, a floor where one of the bars might have 50s music, for the older people, not like old, but 60s music or 80s. There'll be different
Yeah.
discos with different. There'll be a Latin bar, and it's just, and then you have playrooms. There'll be a bondage, a BDSM room for bondage and spanking and all of those good fun things. There'll be a dark room. The dark room sounds just like it sounds. It's a room that has no light. It is completely black. You cannot see anything, and people go in there and feel their way around.
That sounds so terrifying and fun at the same time.
Yeah, it's terrifying and fun. I'm like, I'm not going in there. And then there are playrooms. You got the main playroom, which in the big cruises could probably hold about 800 or 900 people. And in the playrooms, the beds are kind of sectioned off, like with curtains. So you have like one queen size bed sectioned off where you can close the curtain, have some privacy, but you can still hear everybody that's going around you. And the next
Oh my
section
gosh,
may
the best.
have 2 beds, and another section may have 4 beds, and then down the middle it'll just be all open. It's like a big puppy pile with like 100 people on there. It's mayhem. And then of course, you always places to stop in the Caribbean. I've been to most of the islands. So that's like the Bliss Cruise. So it's kind of like the Marriott. It's really nice. The food is decent. It's, the rooms are nice. They probably start around $1,200 per person, for the 7-day cruise. And they probably go up from there. Now,
Okay.
luxury lifestyle vacations, they do usually 1 to 2 cruises a year, and they do basically every place but the Caribbean, and they don't go back to the same place twice anytime soon. So
Ooh.
those are luxuries, much smaller cruises, luxury cruise lines. We're going to be on Seabourn in August. In March, we cruised out of Tahiti, and we cruised the French Polynesia. So that was like 500 and some odd people. We bring in our own talent, but there's a small playroom. It was all inclusive. That cruise started at $3,000 per person
Okay.
and went up. The cruise coming up in August out of Venice, Italy, we're going to do
Oh my
Italy,
gosh,
Croatia,
beautiful.
Montenegro, Greece. It's 8 days, all inclusive. I think the ship has 7 different restaurants to choose from, 79 different bottles of wine. You can have caviar every day, and the cabins start at $12,000 and go up from there.
Wow. That is
And
so
it
cool.
and it is luxury at its best. We bring in talent from all over the world. The clients are from on both cruises. You'll find people from 26 different countries. People flying. We had people from Croatia fly all the way to Tahiti for the Tahiti cruise.
Wow.
I'm like, how long was the trip? It was
Yeah.
35 hours. I'm like,
Travel to travel.
travel to travel, yeah. But I will see them in Croatia. I think they're going to come on the Venice cruise. And then um, I'm also an affiliate for Nadia New Orleans, and that's the largest swinger conference in the country. And
Oh,
that
okay.
happens every year in New Orleans, and it's like a whole. They take over now, I think, 3 hotels, and there's seminars, there's discos, there's parties, there's BDSM room. I set up there to sell. I also do seminars at all the events I attend. I present at. If I'm selling, I'm presenting, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And
No.
so that's a lot of fun because New Orleans is a fun town. It
Oh, yeah.
happens
It's
every
the best.
July. It's hot as hell. So, but yeah, also theme nights, and that's just like a long weekend. That's like you can extend it like a day, but it's like 4 days, 4 days, 3 nights.
Right.
Yeah, but fun.
I guess like for the cruises, I'm kind of wondering, you mentioned rules and you're like, not really rules, but
Yeah, there are rules.
is the like what yes, like what are the rules? But also like is the assumption when you go on a adults only luxury vacation, is the
Mhm.
assumption that you're a swinger? Is the assumption that you are open to doing things with other couples? Or do couples who just like want to maybe engage in some like voyeurism or being seen? Like what I guess basically like if I were to go, would there be an assumption that I was open for business.
No, there are no assumptions. And for those who are experienced in the swinger community, we love willing victims. So there's never an assumption. There's always a conversation. Some of the rules, the main rule is no means no.
Yep.
It's like, I don't have to tell you again. And it works just like the real world. It's like, oh, like, you're so sexy, you're so hot. I'd love to spend time with you. Oh, thank you. But no, that's the end of it, because people like willing victims, and it's not, nobody's going to knock anybody over the head and drag them into a room. And so the biggest rule is no means no. In every instance, it's no, don't touch me. No, just because I'm naked here on the pool deck means you have the right to put your hand anywhere on my body. And most people understand that. And if you are told no more than once or twice, and because we bring our own security, the ship has its security, but we have our own security because we have to, you're handling a delicate situation. So you might get somebody that, maybe's had a drink too much and gets a little handsy, and everybody can recognize that person. Like, Bob's had too much to drink. But if Bob doesn't straighten up by the next day and is not apologizing, they put them off at the next port.
Oh, and you got to figure out your own way home.
And and there's no refunds. You got to find your. I've seen it happen. They will lock you in your cabin, because I've seen it happen. There was a guy, because when you go like into the playroom, because these are couples only cruises as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a guy who went into the playroom and would kind of like lose his wife, so to speak, and like, be touching people. And he was reported, and they locked him and the wife in the playroom. It was like only the second day of a 7-day, 8-day cruise. And the next port, they put him off. They delivered food to his cabin and literally locked him in. He could not leave.
Wow. I bet the wife was pissed.
Oh, pissed. Very pissed. So, but do people have moments? So, but the good thing about these cruises, there's always, you could always find a sexologist, a therapist who is there teaching seminars, and they're on call 24/7 for situations that somebody's like really upset that something happened. You could call one of the therapists and be like, we need to have this conversation right now because I'm going to kill him in his sleep, or her. You know what I mean? So the therapist is there, and it's so rare. So some people on the cruise are only a nudist and they're monogamous. And they just love they don't want to be on a cruise. They don't want to be on a Disney cruise. They don't want to be on Carnival. They don't want to see children, hear children, think about children at all.
Just want to be naked.
They just want to be naked. And it's optional. You do not have to be naked ever. Ever.
Yeah.
So if you're an adult who still loves Halloween and wants to be able to dress sexy, regardless of your body type. It's not like everybody's, Barbie, Ken and Barbie, regardless of your body type, regardless of where you come from, and you still love Halloween, you just want to be sexy without anyone going, why you got to wear, that short thing. Girl.
Fuck off, that's why.
You know what I mean? Just come have a good time.
Yeah.
And, like we don't come to the dark side. We have cookies.
Yep. Yep.
It's just so much fun. It's so much fun to be around people of like minds. But yeah, there are a lot of monogamous people who just love to travel with, because people are open, they're honest, they're fun. People don't have hangups. They talk to you.
Exactly.
You go to some places and people look at you like, why are you looking at my woman? Like, I was looking on the other side of her to see how long the line was at the bar. It's like
just a little bit more acceptance.
It's a lot. It's not even a little. It's like 99% more. Just be yourself, have fun, and it's the experiences. We're traveling to some of the most amazing places. I have been, in the last 9 years, I've been on, I think it's did my 17th cruise.
Wow. That is so cool. That is so cool. I've never been on a cruise, and I've never been on a
girl, come with us. You must come with us.
I will have to eventually. I think that I know thyself, right? And I know that I'm working with my therapist on people-pleasing tendencies. And so I think that I need to have better boundaries for myself.
Okay.
Before I were to come, because, as it were, because I just know that, I wouldn't want to hurt somebody's feelings
You're not
or,
going to hurt anybody.
yeah,
Don't worry about anybody. Don't think for anybody else. These are grown freaking adults. You'll be fine. You won't have to worry about pleasing anybody. All you do is go, no, thank you. That's
Mhm.
it. No, literally, no one's gonna be like, oh, come on, it'll be great. That doesn't happen.
Better than the real world, because that's definitely what people do in the real world.
Yeah,
Start trying to
no,
talk you into it.
we people we literally like willing victims, and and consent is not like, well, I guess no, consent is fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah,
don't get a
if
fuck
it's
yeah,
exactly. That's what I was
it's a
just gonna
no.
say. Exactly. Like if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. And
It's a
yep,
no.
that's always what I say. I'm gonna have to put that in the episode notes, along with all these other great things that you've offered so far. But before like we kind of start wrapping up a little bit, I guess like I want to take a few minutes to talk about. We talked about jealousy a little bit, and we talked about non-monogamy, ethical non-monogamy, and what
Mhm.
that entails. Can you just give like a little overview of what that looks like, just in general, even in the context of these cruises? Or what do you think makes like a successful, healthy, ethical, non-monogamous relationship?
Using your words. I cannot. And it sounds so simple, but when you are in ethical non-monogamy, there are things that happen. There's conversations that happen that you just don't have to have in monogamy. Because in monogamy, you could see someone of the opposite sex with the same sex and be so turned on about it and just go, yeah, I better not, say anything because then that'll create all this other tension. Whereas in ethical non-monogamy, you could see somebody that's hot and be like, damn, that's hot, babe. Look at that. That's so hot. Oh
Hmm.
my God, I don't want to have sex with them, her, him, but they're so hot. But to be authentically honest, to say, I've been thinking about having sex with somebody else. I've been thinking about being intimate without the sex with somebody else. Um, the things that we're doing are no longer pleasing to me. And being authentically honest can be difficult. Um, and it's something that one learns in ethical non-monogamy, to really not only express yourself but to be responsible for your own
Yes.
emotions. Sometimes,
Yes.
yeah, sometimes we want to, kind of put the blame on our partner when we're feeling insecure, like you made me feel this way, or
Hmm.
you did
Hmm.
something to make me jealous. You want to blame outside forces, but it's like, no one made you insecure. No one made you jealous. And learning to deal with your own emotions, like a big girl or boy,
Hmm.
is really, really important. And
Yeah.
yeah, that can really be helpful
And like to
when it
talk to your
comes.
partner too, like about like that's such an interesting thing that I've been thinking about lately. Like nobody's responsible for anybody else's emotions, but if you're a partner, like you should care about the way that your other
Hmm. Hmm.
person feels, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't need to own that. And that's kind
Yeah,
of the beauty of it, I think.
yeah, yeah. So it's really, you know using your words cannot be expressed expressed more, but using your words, being responsible for your own emotions, and understanding that just because you have an emotion doesn't mean that you have to act upon it right then and there.
Yes, emotions are visitors.
Yes, oh, I love
Mhm.
that. I
Yeah.
love that.
And the other thing that came to mind as you were saying that was the Brene Brown quote, which I've been thinking about a lot, which is clear is kind, unclear is unkind.
Unclear is unkind.
And like
And
that's the beautiful thing about using your words. Sometimes you might have to say a really difficult thing, but that's still
hmm
kinder than like lying by omission or like slowly pulling away or
hmm
whatever. Being honest from the get-go is way kinder than the alternate.
one of my favorite things from Brene Brown is the story that I'm telling to myself.
Ooh, yeah.
She talks about that, I think, in the courage, um, the courage talk show she did, I think, on Netflix. It was either the first or the second one that she did, about the story that we're telling to ourselves, because
Mhm.
we're upset about something, and instead of having the conversation with our partner, we start telling us the story to ourselves of what they did and didn't do and how they shouldn't have done it, yada,
Yep.
yada, yada. And it's like, no,
It's kind of like I call it white knight syndrome or Prince Charming syndrome. It's this idea that, um, so like, if I'm in a relationship and I think to myself, gee, like, you know what, it would be really nice if, like, for example, Joe, it'd be really nice if Joe like brought home flowers and dinner tonight. And then like you just think about how nice that would be. But then like that seed is planted in your mind. And then when Joe doesn't bring home flowers and dinner that evening, you get upset about something that you made up in your own head.
Exactly. The
Like,
story you're telling to yourself.
Exactly. So it's so funny how like all of these therapy things come into ethical non-monogamy. I think that's what I find the most interesting about it. Is that it's about communication.
It's so, and it's and another thing is that we're not attached at the hip. Just because it's something I want to do and you don't want to do, it doesn't mean that I don't do it.
Yeah. As long as you have those conversations and you make sure you're on the same page. Yeah, absolutely.
And you may not be on the same page.
Yeah.
Honestly, you may be like, we're not on the same page.
But you have to be on the same page about not being on the same page.
You have to be on the same page about not being on the same page. And recognizing that, you're not, one person is not doing something to hurt the other person.
Exactly.
And literally it just happened between my, well, I won't say who exactly, but some people I know who are getting married soon.
Ooh, congratulations.
And the soon-to-be husband was going to be traveling after the wedding out of the state and to a conference. And in order to save money, said to his soon-to-be wife, I'm going to check with your girlfriend, who he knows, who lives down in this particular state, and see if I could stay with her because she's close to the conference and I won't have to be Ubering back and forth and I could save some money. And the soon-to-be wife was like, you can't do that because we'll be married then. And you as a husband cannot stay at a single woman's home. And he was like, say what now? Why not? And she said, because it's not appropriate. And he was like, why not? So you're telling me that, so the day before the wedding I could stay, but not the day after. He was like, that's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard. What do you think I'm going to do? Because they've been together for several years. Like, what do you think I'm going to do as a married person that I wouldn't have done as a single person? Like that, if I was going to cheat, I would like, and she was like, do you not trust the girl? Or no, I don't trust any of these women. Then why are we paying for them to come to the wedding? Like, it was a whole big blowout, but I ended up having a conversation with them. And I told her, I said, you're falling into this category of, the romantic era and movies think that you have, I said, it's bullshit. Because if you trust him and you trust her, even if she walked around naked, if he wanted to cheat, he would not need to leave the state. He would cheat on the way to work. He would cheat at lunch. He would cheat on the way home.
Yeah.
So what is the challenge? Well, that was just the way I was raised. Well, you're raised now. You're an adult now. So you don't have to do that. But that is just stupid. And I said, nothing changes when you get married other than based on the IRS, because neither one of them are religious. So not even in the eyes of the Lord does it change.
Yeah.
Nothing
it's
changes.
Just a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper.
And she was like, well, it just makes me very uncomfortable. I said, you're going to have to learn to deal with that. Those are your emotions.
Yeah, that's I get that. I definitely get that reaction for sure. But it sounds like, you talked them through it and hopefully, things are better on that front.
Yeah. I mean, they're better, but I mean, that's one of those things where you're going to have to deal with your own emotions. You're going to be uncomfortable. And it's okay to be uncomfortable, but you're not going to die.
Exactly. I mean, that's what life is. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're going to have thoughts and visions and all of that. But if you trust her and you trust him, then what's the big deal?
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, you cannot control another person, no matter how much you may want to.
When I got married, I mean, when I married my husband, we had only been dating 8 months. And I told him, I really don't give a shit what you do. If you have any extra time, energy, or money, I'm not going to tell you what time to come home. You're an adult. If you've had too much to drink, stay where you are. Just call me and go, hey, I'm going to stay at my boy's house. I said, but you cannot keep a grown man or a grown woman from doing anything that they want to do. So I'm not going to be worried, my pretty little head, about you being out here doing something. But I'm like, if you have any extra time, energy, or money, do whatever you want. But if you bring home so much as the common cold, I'm going to kill you in your sleep. But have fun. But have fun with that. It's like, put on a condom, be responsible. Don't be stupid. So.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I'd like, just come home before the sun comes up. That was my only request. If you can't get it done before the sun comes up, you probably don't need to be doing it.
It's not going to happen.
You don't need to be doing it. Get off the street.
Go to bed. Oh, absolutely.
So, and that was we were totally monogamous the first 12 years of our marriage. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That just goes to show that the less that you try to control people, the more, like, I guess, loyalty,
25 years, I think he spent the night out twice. Like,
you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Wow. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for coming on and talking to me today. We covered like a whole bunch of topics, but I'm super excited about each and every one of them. It's going to be a fun episode to write up a description of, because I'm just going to be like, we talked about this and we talked about this and we talked about this. But you've already like said a lot of different things, like your seminars and like the website, and you have a podcast. But yeah, like, this is your time to go ahead and promo, let people know where they can find you, where they can find the products. Take it away.
Well, Rachel, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. You had great questions. I really enjoyed. They were just really good. Thank you so much for having me. It was really good to be here. And yes, on my website and all social media is Organic Loven, LOVEN.com. Organic Loven, like McLovin. And currently, my Aligning with Your Inner Sex Goddess, the course, dealing with aligning your head, your heart, and your womb spaces. That's already currently running. That's a live course that's running, but it will be up for on demand come early fall, come August. So you can log on to Organic Loven and register for our newsletter, and you'll get that notification. And then that's an 8-week course. That's a full-on course. But I have a short course coming up, which will be up in a couple of weeks, the care and feeding of your pussy. Or your yoni. And that is all about holistic health and wellness for those who have vulvas. So it's going to be fun. There'll be an online and a live version. They can come on and they can bring everything in their cabinet, and for the live version, we'll go through the ingredients, what is good for, why it's not good for the body. And so that'll be hella fun too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, yeah. And you have a podcast too. Podcast supporting podcasts, right?
Yes. Thank you very much. Our Sisters of Sexuality podcast, because you can find on Anchor and all podcast platforms, Spotify and Apple, Stitcher and Google Play. And it's about to go into its 4th season. So, Rachel, you should probably come on.
I would be happy to.
I would love to have you. And we're about to go into our 4th season. And of course, if you look up the Come With Us link, you can see all of the upcoming events, cruises, hotel takeovers coming up. We're going to be at Desire in December. We'll be at Hito in January. We're going to be in Cartagena in September. It's a small hotel takeover. And then we still have some cabins remaining, which are all suites on the Venice cruise. And we have some specials going on. So email me and I will get you the code. We're knocking off like $3,000 per person, like $6,000 off the cabin. So
that's fantastic.
It's gonna be. You should come. I'm telling you.
I will think about it. I need a vacation.
Come with us.
Well, thank you very much, Taylor. It's been a blast, and thank you everybody for listening. This has been Wine, Dine, and 69. I am your host, Rachel Dalton, and let's keep talking.